Today's video is a bit of a throwback to before I actually shot for YouTube. So it's going to be in vertical, but it's a good project. I made some mistakes, learned a lot of things, and I thought it might help you too. Plus, it also sets up the video for next week. So let's go. This is a Collier dresser, and I've actually sourced it as a gift for a family friend. I'm giving it to a newlywed couple. So the bride wanted a mid-century modern all wood piece, and so I had to find something that was in good enough condition to fully refinish. This was a beautiful dresser. It had little brass accents on it, and then it had the detailing on the drawers. So my goal was to just strip it to raw and then refinish it. I'm using Citrus Strip to strip the finish on the drawers first. Then I'm going to use some Brasso and get those little brass accents polished up. This is where the flip started to go sideways on me. So all of that liquid from the stripping and bleaching caused the veneer to raise. So underneath that wood, it just swelled and pulled in all of the liquid. So I'm trying to clamp it and get it to go back to its natural form. Some of the areas, so they have swelled. So I went and got this really large clamp at Harbor Freight, and I put a wet towel on it, ironed it, and I'm clamping it, and that worked really well. I did this one, and as you can tell, it was a little, well, I'll have it before and after. It's still swollen just a hair, but it has really laid down nicely. And so I'm going to try to fix a couple of these. I'm going to put some Danish oil on them. Okay, so here is one of the drawers, and see this ring? So when I was refinishing, I had the, when I was stripping it, I had the stripper on it. I had a piece of like a press and seal or cling wrap over it. I sat the bottle of stripper on it, and look what it did. It's so strange, and so I can't get it out. I've sanded, so I'm going to try to bleach it and see if I can get this spot out. Do not set stuff on anything when you are stripping. So here's the stain. It's like the perfect outline of the bottom of my stripping container. Can't really see it unless you start putting water on it. I have put oxalac oil or acid on it. I've put straight bleach on it. I've sanded it. Nothing is getting it out. If I have to, I will paint it, but I really didn't want to paint it. I want to be able to stain it or oil it. So this has been a bit frustrating, this particular set. Come to find out, this is veneer. Underneath the veneer is, it must be like a particle board of some kind. It's not solid. And so anytime I do anything with water, and I introduce water, it swells underneath it. So I'm having to clamp it down to keep these areas from raising. You can see here, just by putting the acid on it, which I had to mix with water, it started to kind of pull away the veneer right here. So I'm going to have to re-glue all of this. So at that point, I decided to move on and work on the body. And so I got it all stripped down and sanded through the grits, and then I just simply applied Danish oil. And the body turned out fantastic. That wood is gorgeous. So because of the problems, I decided to pivot on the drawers, and I'm going to just paint them out and see if I can blend it in. This is General Finish's Milk Paint. It is a self-sealing paint, so no primer is needed. And so I'm just going to paint it out and see what happens. Coat wasn't enough, so I came back through and did a second coat of stripper. So I did a premium clean strip, and then I did citrus strip, and then it still was blotchy, so I bombarded it with wood bleach, the oxalic acid. And I think what happened is, because, come to find out, the substrate underneath the veneer is particle board. And so because of that, the wood swelled and just took in all that moisture because I put too many coats on too quickly of the stripper. So here I clamped it. I did all kinds of things trying to get it to go back. Wouldn't work. Painted it, still looks awful. So this is a quality piece. I mean, the body is fantastic. All the drawers are functional. It's just these drawers that are giving me a lot of headache. So my plan is, I'm either going to do pole wrap on the drawer fronts, because it's just the drawer fronts that I'm having problems with. I'm either going to do pole wrap, or I'm going to get some molding. I'm going to put it over this area just where it absorbed. You can see this part's fine. But it's these areas that it absorbed all of the moisture. See that? So either pole wrap, or I'm going to do molding. We'll see which one works. I could just take the whole thing off and re-veneer it, but I just don't know with that substrate what it would look like. So I'm thinking pole wrap, or I'm thinking moldings. I mean, obviously you can see some of them aren't as bad. I think that one's not as bad. Need to sand that down. But you see, I mean, some of them, the little drawers are the worst, I think. But I don't know. So anyway, full disclosure, that's what happened with that one. I decided to take inspiration from the brutalist style, and I grabbed some moldings. Okay, here are my supplies to fix this drawer. So these are little poplar sticks. They are 3/8 of an inch by 36 inches. And then I have painter's tape. The Q-tips are to just wipe up the glue. I'm going to mark it, and then some kind of a saw. I opted for molding instead of the pole wrap because I really wanted to still have those little brass accents show. So I thought this would be the best option for that. I'm going to get all of the little pieces cut down to size. I'll sand them, glue them up, and see how it looks. Okay, so still working on the Collier dresser. I have the paint to do today. I've got them all set up. I've got them sanded down, and I'm going to clean them off and get them painted. Surprisingly, they look really good. Kind of looks like it's supposed to be there. So if you've been following along, I had some swelling of the veneer, and so this is my solution for covering up the swelling, and I think it looks really great. So let's look back at the before. This was a beautiful dresser, and sadly I ruined it. I can't believe that gorgeous wood grain, and I ended up having to paint it. Who knew that a Collier would have particle board on the drawers? I was really surprised, and so I think it's something that obviously I'm going to have to check a little bit more in the future. You see, it went from beautiful to awful to worse, and then pivoted to put in the moldings, and here is the final product. Not bad. I mean, considering where I started and then how it went sideways on me, I ended up really liking the final product. I normally don't put moldings on things. This was more of a pivot because of a mistake. And so I like to try to stay true to a piece, but you know, this was about a year into my flipping journey, and I learned a lot, and I ended up selling it to a friend, and she loved it, bought it for her daughter. She knew the whole process of what had happened to it, and she actually liked it even more when she found out what had happened and that I had to add the moldings onto it. She thought they were original. I guess some things are little happy accidents. I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments, and thanks so much for watching.